Welcome to Sustain This, a podcast where we discuss mindful consumption, personal style, and the quest for living a more intentional life. I'm Alyssa, a sustainable stylist.
And I'm Christina, a shopaholic turned minimalist-ish.
And I'm Sina, a color consultant and slow fashion style coach.
Together, we will unpack the nuances of what it really means to be a conscious consumer and find more joy in what we have right now. So grab your tea, your coffee, or whatever floats your boat and join us in the conversation. Let's go! Yay!
Yay!
Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Today, an episode that is close to all of our hearts. Timeless classics, timeless staples, timeless essentials. What other very popular titles that get people to click on our videos? What else? I don't know. Like other metaphors. The whole myth of this timeless staples is one that we talk about a lot on the podcast, and we thought we would dedicate an episode to it because we still get asked a lot. We see a lot of conversations bouncing around about like things being timeless, and personally, I think it's healthier to shift to like understanding that it's what does timeless mean for you. I feel like Christina, you did a really good video recently about trends aren't really trends. You also chatted recently about like timeless doesn't really, like, what does that even mean? So let's get into it. Sina, like what does it mean for you? I feel like your style has always been the same. So I feel like you could really like speak to time, like timeless for you, this authentic style, and figuring out what timeless means to you. So I don't know. What do you both of you think?
We kind of came to talk about that in a recent episode, how it like we just asked the question, I think, is it a myth more than it's the truth? Like, is this the whole timelessness piece, is it a myth? And I don't think it is, but I think it's very much about, from like you say, Alyssa, from where you ask that question. I think we all want the templates, and we all want to know, obviously we all want to be smarter with our money, and we want to make sure that we make the best possible decisions when we buy something, but it's there's so many it's all about context, right? It's always all about context.
Christina, in your video, like you had so many good trends, quote unquote, that are timeless. And you called them, I forget what you called them, but it was a good word. It was like something that comes back every season.
Oh, they're seasonal.
Year.
They're
right.
Seasonal rather than
seasonal.
Yeah. So
I like that.
I think when we talk about trends, there is often a negative connotation to them. And from that point of view, I totally agree, because I think trends in many ways are designed to keep us in like a scarcity mindset, to keep us feeling behind. It's designed to keep you sort of one step behind and on that kind of consumption hamster wheel and not feeling like enough, because if you're not with it, then, then you're outdated. And that has a lot of negative connotations to it too. Like I think we talked about in one of the previous episodes, kind of the fashion wars between millennials and Gen Z. And it's like, the front tuck is outdated, or wearing a ankle sock is outdated compared to a crew sock. So there's that sort of aspect. But what I just noticed in that video is I feel like a lot of the trends that have come out, for example, for fall 2024 are not trends at all. Since when is suede a trend? Or the color burgundy, like,
or brown, brown for autumn. I can't help but it's so groundbreaking.
I know. Exactly. Yeah. Devil Wears Prada 101. Exactly. So I just found that pretty kind of like fascinating and slightly hilarious. But the other thing about trends is kind of getting into what Alyssa said is I feel like trendy versus timeless, like we kind of brought up the question, like, is anything truly timeless? Because what I find is sometimes like the silhouettes change, and then this new silhouette, like for example, maybe in 2005, skinny jeans, they were like the hot silhouette, and maybe at that time they were considered timeless, and now not so much.
You just brought up the skinny jeans. It's more, were they timeless, or were they just versatile for, whatever else?
Good question.
Yeah, because exactly like you say, Christina, what feels timeless right now might not feel timeless in a decade, because silhouettes change. Like, just look at the blazer, like you say, look at how it was shorter and more, the shoulders were super exaggerated in like the 80s or the 90s. So the silhouettes change, but the blazer itself is still considered a timeless piece.
Yeah. So like what silhouette of blazer is truly timeless? I think we're going to do an episode about our style evolution. And I was thinking back of, I was a blazer girl even in 2013, 14, 15, but the silhouette of those blazers were very kind of super tight to the body, tailored, and not the way there's a new silhouette that's out that's more cinched and more hourglass. Like they weren't like that, but they were kind of tailored within an inch of their lives. And then in 2019, 2020, 2021, it was that more boxy, oversized blazer. Now it's that hourglass silhouette blazer. So like, I think a blazer is a timeless piece, but the silhouette of a blazer could be trendy. So it's more, I think, circling back to what Alyssa said, it's like what feels good on you, and what I think the key to timeless style is, what creates longevity in your wardrobe for you. And what's going to be timeless in your own closet compared to, what's constantly being put out in the ether and telling you like what's actually, what's timeless versus trendy, and what's in, what's out, etc.
I like your point about how you described you've always been a blazer girl, but it was the silhouettes that changed. Because ultimately, same as you, I was looking at trends, and I find every year we look at trends and it's like, these are all the same. But ultimately, we only have a finite set of resources and clothing every season to work with, right? Like materials, suede, leathers, wools. So ultimately, silhouettes are what is going to change to make things feel current and fresh. And yet what I find there's always this like big gap is silhouettes are the things that dictate whether something is fresh and current. But oftentimes, no matter how we age and how our bodies change, me personally, silhouette is the one through line that stays in terms of like what I like on me. So I think there's a big gap for us as humans who need to get dressed in a way that feels fresh, but also that we just really, really like. And
that's so interesting. I've never thought about that.
Don't you find like there's a big gap? Like trends, silhouettes do this, and we're just like,
Yeah, it's true.
Sorry, that was a very complicated visual that I just put on the screen. Or we should just edit that out. Sorry. Anyway, I don't know. Thoughts?
Yeah, no, that's so interesting. Even when I think back, I feel like for years I've been, like you said, Alyssa, I feel like I've been very true to my own style. And I'm very much drawn, I've mentioned this before, that I'm still very much drawn to basically the same things when I pin outfits on Pinterest. It's the same things. It feels new, but it's the same things all the time. And it might just be the silhouettes actually that is like the proportions and the silhouettes.
Yeah.
But it's the same. It's
right?
Not really...
Because you know what you like. So ultimately, like I was wearing button-down shirts when I was like 10 probably. You know what I mean? And I loved like a structured trouser. The silhouette and the proportions that I like to play with, I think especially once you figure it out, like you don't want to deviate because you feel good in those silhouettes and proportions. Like it's the shapes that will dictate how you feel.
I agree with you. I think if you find your silhouette, then that's kind of your guiding light and your North Star of this is what's timeless for me, because you know it looks good, it feels good. But then at the same time, I think there are timeless classic pieces. But like I said, it's, those checklists aren't going to work for everyone. Like I would say like a Levi 501 in the last 30, 40, 50 years is probably like a straight leg jean. So mid-rise, it's not high rise, it's not low rise, it doesn't taper. It's just like your classic pair of jeans or a button-down shirt. But again, the silhouette of the button-down is, maybe it's slightly cinched and more tailored, and then now it's more oversized, but it's like what button down works for you, or like going back to the jeans, maybe you hate a 501, maybe a mid-rise straight leg looks like you feel terrible in it. So maybe that's when a wide leg jean is going to work for you. So I think there's like classic staples, but like you said, that silhouette it's going to be so individual, and what works for what you feel like works for your body type and how you want to feel and any of that stuff, I think is more can be dictated by you.
Yes. Yeah.
Does that make sense? I don't know.
Yeah. Because, there's definitely pieces that have enduring appeal. And I think that's why there are many types of basics that are basics for everyone, like a t-shirt or, but then it just comes in different silhouettes and different shapes.
I do worry sometimes with I do worry sometimes about like certain pieces being classic, and I think we kind of have to blur the lines about those items. I've had clients be like, well, I need a pair of jeans because I'm building my wardrobe and I need a pair of jeans. And it's like, but why? You don't like wearing them. They have like 5 pairs of jeans and I don't like any of them, but they have all these trousers and they're a skirt wearer, they're a dress wearer. So why? So I do worry sometimes that the idea, when we focus so much on a timeless classic or a timeless essential, it is another opportunity for people to say, well, no, I need this. So I check it off my list. So I go out and buy the thing when I don't actually need it, when it doesn't actually align with my style. So I
hear what you're saying.
Do you know what I mean? It's that's a tough one too.
Yeah.
Like I would be like, yeah, of course everybody needs a pair of jeans in their wardrobe. Like, well, of course. But like also maybe not. I don't know. You know?
Now they're coming out with those sweatpant jeans. Have you seen those?
Yeah, I haven't. No, I haven't. I feel like I need to do a Google.
Don't even. You'll hurt your eyes.
I'm gonna do it.
No, but it's denim. It's a sweatpant with a denim
rack and bone
wash on it, so it looks like a pair of jeans, but it's sweatpants.
I'm so not.
Maybe
cool,
that's the solution if you're not a denim.
Maybe, yeah. I apologize for anyone who is wearing sweatpant jeans. I don't know what these are called, but like, no shade, okay? If you like it, you like it.
Oh, it's like a revolutionary printing technique that makes any material look like denim. Okay, it really does look like denim. That's
like
crazy.
Own it. If you want to wear sweatpants, own the sweatpants. You know, no shame in wearing sweatpants. Just do it. You know, like, yeah, Christina, you've rocked like a really good Adidas track pant, like with a blazer, and it looks fantastic. Just do it. Don't try to be both. It kind of plays into the whole like overproduction, overconsumption piece, you know, when brands are trying to be, okay, now this is like going a little off topic. When brands are trying to be everything for everyone, it's just another opportunity for you to like check off that staple. You know what I mean?
You know, the FOMO aspect of it, I think sometimes it's also about, you know.
One thing I see a lot on my feeds is kind of how to update outfits and how to update, let's say, outfits that look outdated. And sometimes, and all of those pieces are classic. Like I just saw a video, and I don't think this is negative in any way. Sometimes people value looking modern. They value looking current. And going back to what we talked about, shape and silhouette, those change.
Yeah, because I think there's a lot of cultural context in that. That's actually, you know, it's important. It's, you know, it's,
Yeah. Because we talk a lot about like valuing fashion and valuing style, and, you know, that's an aspect of it too. So I saw this video of updating a look from like, I don't know, 2015. So it was like a camel coat, skinny jeans, ankle boot with the skin sandwich in between, a little bit of skin showing with the jean cuffed, because that was like a really big thing. The plaid scarf, you know, and then like the floppy hat. So, you know, you can kind of clock that as like a 2015 look. At the same time, she didn't look bad. Nothing wrong with this outfit.
No.
But some people will want to look updated. So, for example, this camel coat, which was like a more fitted, shorter silhouette, the creator kind of updated it to a longer line camel wool coat that was a little bit slightly oversized, like more relaxed, but not, you know, not swimming in it. And then she changed the denim to a straight leg jean. And then she changed the kind of like Western style ankle boot to something with like a pointed toe and a taller shaft. So, and then there was no more cuff or like anything like that. And and then she lost the hat and the scarf kind of thing. So what do you think about that?
That's fascinating.
I like the idea of updating quote unquote outdated pieces, if you will. Like, for example, skinny jeans. I still love wearing skinny jeans. And I do think there are ways that you can style around them where they feel more current. I think it's more, I don't know, I feel kind of divided because it's also like, yeah, it's the same look, but if you have to buy every piece new.
Yeah. Yeah. How do you
meet in the middle somehow? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So let's say the skinny jeans were actually the thing in that outfit that were perhaps the most outdated part. Then maybe we could just switch those to a pair of straight leg jeans, or like, do we have to switch every single silhouette? I think that's also what people struggle with sometimes, that,
yeah, that's good.
They feel outdated or they feel like they don't look current, but it also feels wasteful to have to change everything. Like, when is it the right time? When is it okay to say, okay, this fit is no longer current, and then exchange it with something else?
Yeah, that's because I think there's a time to, and I think we all do it. We all update our wardrobes. 100%. We all declutter. And I think it could be like, I think it's a problem if it's like constant or you barely got use out of it. But let's say you had that certain silhouette of jacket for years. Maybe you gave it all the love that you wanted to, and it's time to upgrade it, or if you want to, so yeah, I just find it's a little bit of like a kind of a gray area, because I don't want to say and put my foot down of being like, you don't need to get anything new, and trends are bad and updated silhouettes are bad. Like, I just don't think that's true. No.
Or realistic.
That's more the word. Yeah.
I mean, I've stored away most of my skinny jeans because I have hopes that maybe I'll warm up to them again at some point in my life.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it's also about being exposed to a certain thing many times. It's not about like not being confident in wearing them and just owning and being like, you know what, I'm a skinny jean person. It's also, there's so much cultural context in when it comes to, I don't want to use the word trends, but still, like, when it comes to what is timeless and what is not timeless.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I did a video that was similar about like looking at my style from 2015 and now, and I swapped out a lot of things I noticed, but I broke out the looks into elements of style, and that's kind of when it had clicked for me to realize that, like, no, the silhouettes rarely change, but a lot of it for me was the context. Like, when I broke it out, I realized that I was dressing a lot for other people. I think when you do start dressing more true to yourself, then when you do update, maybe you're just doing it with more intention, which is ultimately what it's all about. Kind of like what you were saying, Christina.
That's a nice way of thinking about it. I agree. I think that's a great way to think about it. Yeah. And slowly,
Yeah, and it was interesting. It looked so drastic. Like, I got a lot of for that. Sorry, I don't know if we're editing out bad words.
Sure.
I got a lot of flack for that video because it looked like I had completely like changed over my wardrobe, but a lot of those pieces that I had swapped out, I've had them for like 10 years, and they were slowly let go of. Like, it was like by attrition, like over an 8-year period that I had let them go. So I didn't. Anyway, so it's really interesting that I think if you do it slowly and with intention, but there's nothing wrong with novelty and wanting to feel current.
Yeah, I think having that mix is good. You can mix in the t-shirt that you've had for 8 years with the new silhouette of coat or blazer or whatever it is, and there's just elements that can modernize, but at the same time, it's almost like with like the current trends, let's say fall fashion trends, all of those are so easily thriftable too, and totally. I think a lot of those trends are rooted in classics. For example, car coats and work barn jackets are super hot right now, and like you can go get a you can go thrift one easily and then boom, you're on trend. So I don't know. I feel like it's almost like is this a chicken or the egg thing?
Yeah.
Because as we talked about, like the updating this millennial outfit, obviously there are new modern silhouettes, but I could go if I wanted. I'm thinking of the wool coat, like the super fitted, kind of shorter, maybe like hip length wool overcoat. But if I wanted to update to a quote unquote modern silhouette of that coat today, I could go to the thrift store and just get a long line coat and maybe size up. And now I'm on trend, but that coat is 40 years old.
Yeah.
So
it's so cyclical.
I don't know. I'm like, are there timeless classic pieces? I think yes.
Yes.
But I feel like trends and like what's current, quote unquote, modern dressing just like changes what that definition of timeless is. I don't know. I'm so confused.
I think it brings it back to like what's timeless for you. Like I'm curious, Christina, was the pea coat, was the coat in the millennial quote unquote outfit, was it a pea coat? Like a short, like preppy sort of, okay. And then the coat that you would, for example, replace it with, for example, that you envision going to thrift it with, would it be the same structure, just longer? Like, is it just the hem length that changes?
Yeah, I think
that
so.
Makes it more current. It's just the hem length.
Yeah, and just like maybe not as perfectly fitted to the back and shoulders.
Right.
You know, like you could layer a big chunky knit under it and still have like a little bit of room. Yeah. Whereas I feel like the silhouettes from 2015, everything was like, I'd wear a sweater that was like perfectly tight, a chunky sweater that was like perfectly tight to the body. Whereas now the silhouette is more loose and chill and oversized and flowy. You know what I mean? So I just feel like if we're talking silhouettes, they've just gotten a little bit looser, more relaxed.
More relaxed for sure. I don't know. You know what's interesting is like I would look at someone. I actually found it very interesting when I saw silhouettes becoming more relaxed. I was so curious to see what Blair Eady would do, because she like defined that whole like 2014, 2015 when we're thinking of like
who's that?
Fitted. Blair Eady from Atlantic Pacific. I think she switched her name. She like exploded. She was one of the OG bloggers. I'll put her in the show notes. But her style was very it's very preppy in the sense that like everything is tailored, everything is fitted and structured, and really bright pops of color. Like when the whole like normcore thing was happening and everyone was going neutral, I was watching her. I was like, okay, Blair, what are you gonna do? Like, what's gonna happen to you? And she maintained. She went like sometimes a little bit more neutral, but she maintained her silhouettes. She maintains the fitted, sharp silhouettes. If she does oversized, she'll go like way oversized and exaggerate it, because her elements ultimately are bold and colorful and creative. And so she managed to work with what was trending and still make it her own. And I don't know, it was still, I don't even know exactly where I'm going with this. But I found that to be really interesting, that she kind of maintained these fitted silhouettes all while relaxed was trending. So I think ultimately it's like whatever is timeless to you.
Yeah. I think there's also the opposite of timeless tends to be trends. But even trends are different. They're the very short-lived trends, which are often referred to as fads, you know, which are like really, really short-lived.
Micro trends.
Yeah. Whereas trends actually tend to last longer. Like they can easily last several seasons or even years. So it's also about where you're jumping aboard with the whole thing.
Great point.
Yes. Great point. Yeah. Yeah, like I would say, like, you know, the mesh flat trend, that was like really hot this summer, but they were around last summer too. The leopard print jeans have been around for the past at least 2 years. You know, those like Ganni jeans that everybody's wearing, that sort of silhouette. So, yeah, I find that interesting too, is like at what point, because we have that trend cycle where you have like the trendsetters, and then everybody sort of catches on, and then it peaks, and then it kind of goes down. So if you like come on the trend toward the end, I mean, I feel like that's kind of a good time to adopt a trend if you were thinking about it, especially on the fence about it, because it's kind of like on the downward slope, which means that you've kind of refrained for quite a long time. You've probably thought about it, and then it's like, okay, this is something that I think I'm going to wear in my wardrobe. It's going to have longevity in my closet, and I'm going to wear it well after it's like, quote unquote, no longer cool. So I think kind of, I guess, getting back to everything, are there timeless pieces? Yeah, probably. Do silhouettes change? And do the silhouettes of the timeless pieces change? Yes. Does how we combine it change? Yes. Are there trend pieces that are just trendy? Also, yes. That won't stand the test of time. But I think at the end of the day, when it comes to personal style, I think it's just so important to bring any of those pieces in with longevity in mind and with authenticity with your own style. So it's not about, quote unquote, like what's cool and what's not, and even what's modern or current and what's not. Is this going to work with my clothes, my outfit, my style? Is this something that feels like me? And if it does, then I think that's probably the most important thing.
Yeah.
So if you buy like a mesh flat and they're no longer, maybe everyone in Brooklyn is no longer wearing them, but if it adds like a weird kind of twist to your outfit,
Totally.
5 years from now, I think that's cool.
I think so too.
Rock it.
Yeah.
I feel like that was really, really well wrapped. And
It's Oscar.
Sorry.
Is that a dog? Oscar!
He just went for a walk, so he's all over the place.
Oh, good boy.
Oscar, send us out.
Oh, look at his face. He's so excited. Oh my God.
So cute.
I love him.
Oh, sorry.
I think that's a great point though, Christina, like to jump on a trend at the end, because then you've like passed the saturation factor, right? Like if you were tired, if you were to get tired of a trend, it would be at that point. So if you're still loving it, then it's like a solid indicator that you can go for it. And
I think so.
yeah, that's a great point.
Yeah. I'm still confused, but
Yeah. Yeah, because I guess the question was, is the timeless piece a myth? I don't think it
Did
is.
we answer that question?
But I think that checklist of, X timeless pieces that everyone should have in their wardrobes, I don't think, that's not, I think we can establish by now that that's not the way forward. And timeless, the timeless piece does exist, but it has to be from your point of view.
Yes. Well, that's perfect. I agree. I think it exists. We've laid this down, everybody. So now you know. Tell all your friends.
You heard it here first.
This incredibly important piece of information. Anyway, what are your thoughts? Let us know. We always love hearing from you in the comments. Give this video a like if you learned something new or if you just liked it. Don't forget to hit that join button if you're interested in exclusive content and engaging with us a little further beyond the comments section and in the show notes, etc. But in the meantime, we hope you have a wonderful week. Don't forget to rate and subscribe to the podcast if you are listening on Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcasts. And we will be back in another episode.
I just want to say, give us a thumb on YouTube for the dog cameo alone.
Oh yeah,
I feel
totally.
Like
Oscar, yes, fully.
Yeah.
Fully. Well done.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you so much for joining in our conversation this week. If you're enjoying the show, we'd love it if you subscribe to the podcast on Spotify and Apple and leave us a rating and review. It's one of the best ways to support the Sustain This podcast at zero cost to you.
We're also a community-led podcast, so if you have any questions for us, topic requests, or even guests you want to hear from, please send us a DM on Instagram at sustainthis_podcast. We read all of our comments and look forward to hearing from you.
We hope you join us again next Tuesday, where we'll talk about so much more than clothes. Ciao!